Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nightmares Podcast. For his hat trick of the amount of podcasts that he's been on, that would be not one, not two, but number three, lucky number three. It is Corey Clarke, a.k.a. Poltergeist OD, a dear, dear friend to the Nightmares Podcast, and one day we'll be in the studio when he leaves the Great White North. We will get him out of Canada eventually to have him here in the studio. But in the meantime, we have to suffer and muddle through Skype, but that's okay just the same. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Corey Clarke. What's going on, good sir?
What up from the internet?
That's like his best,
I'm in your phone. Yeah, man. I've been doing good since last time we talked. Just, staying busy. I'm doing shows. I'm releasing a little bit more music. I'm working on a big Stephen King track that I got huge plans for. It's going to be the peak of my career so far. So look out for that soon.
Dude, I fucking love it, man. So you're at I've been seeing you a lot of different shows and everything else, which is really cool to see you, doing that stuff. How's that been going? You've been performing live a lot more in the last couple, in the last year or so, a couple months. Obviously, things are lightening up a little bit because of COVID, but obviously too, it's running in tandem with how bigger you're getting. So that's pretty awesome. How's that working out?
It's going awesome. I just got back from High Prairie from the Intersect Art Musical Festival. I'm on the crew that helps build the stages, so I've been out there for 8 days, busting my ass in the heat. It turned out really, really well, miles better than last year. Next year is going to be even bigger. What else do I got coming up? I got River City Revival with Doug Shells at Revival House in Edmonton. I just did Phase Shift in Innisfail, Alberta. It's another music festival. Yeah, it's been busy. The second COVID rules lifted for musicians here, I was just I'll take what I can get, and now I'm at the point where I'm just turning down shows. I turned down 2 shows today because I already have shows booked.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, that's
it's awesome, but it's kind of frustrating to deal with a schedule like that as well. But I can't complain. It's a good job. So
if you did, who would listen anyway? They were like, "Oh, I feel so bad for you, Mr. Rockstar."
Yeah. He gets to scream at people and then get drunk. What a horrible life.
Yeah, no, and sing songs about horror movies and stuff and everything else. Which is fucking fantastic. So I know you released a few new tracks and everything else. That's fucking dope. I dug the Killer Klowns one. That was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Killer Klowns was cool. Killer Klowns was one that a ton of people kept recommending over and over. Are you gonna do one about Killer Klowns? Never planned on it, and I'd always kind of thought how I would do it, and then I think finally somebody else asked, and that was the last straw for me. I was like, okay, whatever. I put the movie on. I just started taking down notes, and it just kind of flowed to me. I just put it off for so long because I'm worried about how I'm gonna do it rather than just sitting down and fucking getting through it.
It's amazing how insanely popular that one was, and I know my girlfriend Sarah is a huge fan of that movie, so she was really stoked to see that. So on behalf of her, she said to give you a nice thank you and good job.
Thank you and good job.
So and I know you finally got to the Frighteners, which is fucking awesome.
That's a personal favorite. I didn't even expect that one to get any recognition. I just did that for myself.
You gotta love. You know what, man? Sometimes it's all. You do stuff for the fans, but then you also do stuff for yourself and everything else. There's a bunch of shit that we've done. That podcast that we did with you about 90s children's horror television. I didn't do that for anybody but us. That was one of those things that I was like, you know what? We need to talk about this. I think it would be a blast to fucking reminisce and and chit chat and everything else. So it's always fun to do just shit for yourself, stuff that you would enjoy to see.
Yeah, and if anybody else digs it, that's just a bonus.
Exactly. So man, like it's cool to catch up. I know I'm sure you got a lot of like really good stuff. Coming up. Now you're doing live shows. What's the dream, man? What do you want to do next? What's your plans on progressing?
Just keep doing what I'm doing, and anything that comes is good. Like I don't know, like where I want to go. I don't really have like set goals in mind. Like it would be cool. I've always said it would be cool if like somebody made like a B horror movie and I got to write the outro credits for it. And like it would just be like the ultimate goal to like watch a shitty horror movie and then your song's playing right after. That'd be like the ultimate hit for me right now. After that, no idea. Whatever comes after that is
the amazing flexibility to life. Dude, that's awesome and everything else. You know what? I'm going to ask you too, like, because obviously, by the way, whoever, I completely forgot to do this for new people and everything else because we're so used to you coming and hanging out and everything else. Do you want to give a quick description of what you are and what you do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for new people, like, that may or may not, like, we're so, like, used to, like, hanging out with you. We're like, oh, it's just Corey. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's up to. Like,
Well, I'm Stephen King, and I'm writing a new book about Poltergeist, the movie. I go by Poltergeist OD. I make songs based on horror movies, like from the perspective of horror movie villains. So, like, I have a song where, like, what if Michael Myers was the rapper? What if Chucky was the rapper and he was to make, like, a battle rap song? Something like that. I've done at least 13 or 14 of those so far. I'm also in a group called Obscene Division. That's what the OD stands for. We're just, like, the most offensive horrorcore you can think of. So if you're easily offended, maybe stay away from my avenue. But if you don't give a shit and you like horror and you like rap, then check me out.
Corey, I think you should just try to keep it PG.
I think I should. For the sales.
Nah, fuck them. They fuck them long, fuck them hard. Who cares? So you know what, man? You never really got into like in like previous podcasts. I don't think you talked as much, at least from what I remember. I don't remember, I guess, about your other side. Obscene Division. Like you didn't get into a lot of detail about how that all started and how you got, hooked up with them, and then what they're more. Obviously we've talked about. The mass majority of what we see on YouTube is those main songs by you, but I haven't really heard much about that side of things, and you like breaking it down about the history and like what all goes into the OD side of things rather than the Poltergeist side of things.
Well, OD is basically me, Razorwire, Nick Obscene, Nemadian. I met Razorwire in high school when I first moved to Alberta from Newfoundland. I think I was like 14 years old. We hung out. We both liked metal and stuff like that. He and Nick Obscene would meet up in Matt's garage. Matt is Razorwire. We would all meet in Matt's garage, and like they would freestyle rap. And I was always more of like a deathcore, grindcore kid. So I never really got into it till later. I was like hammered one night with those guys, started a rap, and they were like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So I just like stuck to it. Eventually we decided to take it seriously and record like a mixtape in a studio and everything. That mixtape is called KSW. You can find it on, I believe, Bandcamp, maybe SoundCloud, but I don't think it's anywhere else. Once we started like getting shows and getting some recognition, that's when we started like really thinking about who we wanted to be as rappers. And like we kind of all went our separate ways. Like I went like my way with the horror movie stuff, and Nick wanted to do like more personal stuff to him. And like we're still best friends. We're still working on new stuff all the time. Like there's new Obscene Division material on the way. But we're kind of still doing our own thing on the side.
And Obscene Division does Obscene Division stick within the horror genre, or is it kind of veer off into other things?
Obscene Division is like it's in the name. Obscene music, just like
whatever's obscene.
Whatever like gross, heinous things we can think of, and like we just crack jokes all the time. It's just dark humor.
Fair enough. Like, what are some of the songs that you guys came up with? We've talked about all kinds of crazy shit on this podcast, so I'm not worried about much.
Explain the inspiration behind Overdose Cipher.
Oh, the Overdose Cipher.
Yeah, thank you.
That was just a beat some guy sent to me. I don't even remember the dude's name. I feel bad now, but I had it on my laptop forever, and we were recording the mixtape, and I was like, man, we got to do something with this beat. So I think Matt, like Razorwire, he was the first one. He just like spit a verse over it, and we were like, okay. So we recorded that and took it home, and we all kind of just went in different ways and just decided to make it a cipher.
With all that, with you having the grindcore, background and such the, large fandom, are you ever going to go and explore that, and do more horror stuff within that? Then and kind of move away from rap or try other styles of music and everything else, because there really isn't there isn't a much new stuff. I mean, yeah, we've had like some other things, in the last like 10, 15 years, but nothing significant I can think of in necessarily rock and roll that really talks about horror. I mean, with the exception of fucking Rob Zombie, but Rob Zombie haven't put anything out in a while. So, I don't know. So I'm curious, are you going to explore any other genres of music?
Well, you've probably heard of Ice Nine Kills, so I'd say like they would be like the more modern like metal rock talking about horror movies. A lot of people ask me like, am I going to go back to my metal roots? Because I spent like 19 years playing guitar and like wanting to be in a metal band my whole life until I switched to rap. So it is kind of weird that like I didn't explore it. I don't know. I think it would have to be like the right band would have to come by. I'm not going to go out and like start a new project and go, like find a drummer, go find a bassist and like try to deal with like 6 different people on one project. It's bad enough dealing with my own head when I'm writing something. So like, yeah, like 6 other people just like butting heads on a project. I don't even know if I want to do that. But if a band came to me with like an instrumental and was like, I'll lay down some like harsh metal vocals over the hook or something like that and wanted me to like do a verse, hell yeah, I'd do it.
Nice. The and you also too, you said you also play guitar as well, so you could add something to that. Yeah. Although, do you still pick up the instrument, or have you not picked it up in a while?
I mean, I wish I picked it up more, but like maybe once every 2 months, I might like pick it up and fuck around for like an hour. But I used to play for like 8 hours a day, like straight up. It was the only thing I wanted to do with my life, and yeah, it feels kind of sad to think about it now. But I mean, rap is like kind of my calling, I would say. Like I'm kind of focused on this right now. It's not like I can't pick it up whenever I want. Like it's just upstairs in my room.
But it's more, it's more about like, hey, these are the talents that are in front of me right now, and this is, what I'm on this train. I should stay on it.
It's just kind of what I'm focused on right now. Who knows? I might even like quit rap for a year and pick up the guitar full time again. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's kind of cool, man. You kind of got this like, like, hey, like whatever I'm feeling, man. Like, yeah, I just go in my, my direction and everything else. And it's a cool mentality to have.
I know I'm going to be dealing with music no matter what I do, no matter where I end up. I'm definitely going to be working on some kind of music, but yeah, I don't know what, because I like all kinds of stuff. And like, I do love hip hop, and I'm going to keep doing this until I've exhausted it. And let's say I exhausted in 10 years and I want to be in a metal band. Who knows?
That's awesome, man. Hey, we were talking about a bunch of different, other guests and everything else. We're talking about like, people like reactions from the general public on, on like what you do and what you're doing, what's special. That now that you're, going on, doing more shows and being in front of an audience and everything else. One, how is that feeling? Those feelings of, are people do people know your songs yet? Are they singing it back to you? And, and what has been some of the, like the reactions of like fans and people out there to you getting stalked yet?
No stalkers just yet. I mean, I've been doing shows around, Edmonton, Alberta for close to 8 to 10 years, I would say. So
Nice.
there are certain shows where like a lot more of like your friends and your core fan base will show up, and like there's a lot more people who know the lyrics and give you that energy, and it's always a good time. But like obviously the further you stray away from your hometown, the less people know. But like I mean, with music festivals, people traveled from all over Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, fucking Nova Scotia. People came from everywhere for Intersect. And so like I had fans from across the country, and I had fans who came with me to the show. So like it's a really, really cool feeling to have somebody sing your lyrics back to you. It just like gives you the energy you need to keep going. Cause like when I'm up there, I'm jumping around and I'm not really saving my breath the way I should be. But yeah, it gets tough sometimes energetically, but just that alone is so helpful.
Absolutely, man. What's the most fun experience that you've had with some fans?
I mean, just last year at Intersect, actually, this like 10-year-old kid, I was in the alien costume, the inflatable alien costume, and this kid comes up to me with a little green pair of sunglasses, and he's like, "Here, these match your outfit." And I just like put them on and kept going. And that kid came up to me this year at Intersect. Looks like a totally new kid. I don't know how they grow so fast, but he's like, you were my favorite Intersect artist. He's like, I still have the glasses if you want to wear them again. And I like gave him a shirt, and he like came out and helped work on the stage with us. It was awesome. This kid, his name was Aiden. Super cool kid.
Yeah, dude, that's gotta be you gotta be over the moon about that shit, man. Like, to have that type of thing, and and see somebody a year later who remembers you, because kids got short attention spans, man. So like
Yeah.
For him to remember, that's got to be a really cool feeling.
Yeah, it's like awakening, like because sometimes as an artist, no matter how small or big you are, everybody feels like this shit's not going to work out, but something like that happens and it fuels you again for another year.
No, I hear you, man. Hey, I know, so, because obviously, once again, like, this is your hat trick. So a lot of other people, and obviously we're going to put a bunch of links in here to all the other older podcasts, talking about your history and everything else. But, the one thing I was curious about, and I kind of wanted to ask you again, is, is it because you're a fan, or is there some other secret sauce about why you keep coming back to horror, and not necessarily like, horror sci-fi or horror, or another genre of film and everything else? Because obviously you're a fan of a lot of different types of films, good and bad, and also very bad. We've
Mostly
had this
very
discussion.
bad. Yeah.
Mostly very bad. So the and people send you shit too. So so you have a lot of things in your possession that you probably shouldn't have, like Goosebumps Chillology, but we'll leave that one alone for the time being.
I actually have 2 copies now since we last spoke. I got another one.
Is there no shame anymore?
I'm just gonna collect a box of them and send them to you.
Oh,
Please do that.
Thanks. And then I'm literally gonna drive up to Canada and then deliver them back to you.
Perfect. Catch a show while you're here.
Hey, dude, yeah, come in, catch the show. I think that's how much hate fuel I would have. I mean, like I'm gonna drive 2 days worth of driving to drive to Canada to give this bullshit back to him. I think I would have been happy. I think he would. Yeah. Do you think I was like, oh, what did Corey do and everything else? Like, like he basically like shit in a box and UPS'd it to me. That's basically what happened. But so anyway, so why do you keep coming back to horror, man? Opposed to necessarily anything else, man. Because I mean, I could come up with a lot of guesses, but I wanted to hear it from you.
It's just where I feel more comfortable writing. Like I've tried, like my first album, Keep It PG. Like I tried sad songs, happy songs, party songs, like silly songs. I tried like writing an array of styles and like techniques and stuff. And once I did that Michael song, which was like the first horror movie song I wrote, once I did that, I was like, okay, this is my shit. this is where like I'm gonna flourish, and I just like felt it, you know.
So it was like a visceral thing. Like you're like, this is where I belong.
Yeah,
This,
I just once I wrote Michael, I was like, okay, well, this is clearly what I'm meant to do. This is what I've been building up to do so far.
yeah, that's awesome, man. It's a hell of a thing, to do that. And too, man, for some of our our newer viewers and people who are watching, how did hip hop touch your life? How did it start to was it that initial random meeting where they said hey, just hop on the mic and then you just spit it, or was there other passing moments throughout your life that where hip hop was around?
It was literally just that moment in Razorwire's garage. We were hanging out before we were even Obscene Division. We were drunk. They were freestyling. I was like, let me write something because like I can't freestyle. I got to like think about everything I do. So I wrote this little verse. I barely remember it. I spat it to them and they were like, that was actually pretty cool. And like I was like, okay, that feels good. I really like this. And that was it. And I was like, okay, show me all the rappers you guys listen to. And they like introduced me to like 3 6 Mafia, Brother Lynch Hung, Tech Nine, like all those guys, and just like fell in love that day.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I'm sure that your experience with already being a musician definitely helped. I mean, like there's something to be said about the match. I'm a music nut. I like a lot of different kinds, and there's definitely some similarities between metal and rap. Like there's there's emotion, there's aggression, there's strong feelings in those things, but there's also a lot of similar techniques with how you approach it. So it's probably not that unheard of for you to step in the same way that Anthrax and Public Enemy made it happen together. So I mean, it's not that crazy to think of it, but maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe at least in my mind, what what are your thoughts on that?
No, I believe a lot of rap, like especially the rap that I make and listen to, it's very similar to metal. Like probably one of the closest you can come to, unless you think of like super heavy, obnoxious DDM. Because like what other genre might make you feel pissed off, but still enjoy it,
Yeah, that's true. And then what are the two most listened to genres in the gym? It's rap and rock and roll and metal. Like that's it. Like there's no other thing. And there's also there's aggression in horror. Like there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like it's about like people doing awful things to human beings. It was a Wes Craven quote. Like when he was talking about Scream and the MPA was like it's too disturbing. I was like, it's murder. It should be fucking disturbing.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's definitely there's an edge already to horror, so it makes sense for those two to be married. The rap music and hip hop, and then also horror as a whole.
And it's not like I was blind to hip hop before I got really into it. I mean, like obviously I knew about like Eminem, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Dre, like the big ones, but like I never got into underground hip hop until I met those guys.
Yeah, and there's and a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, like 3 6 Mafia, like that's definitely on the more underground side.
I mean, not so much anymore because there's so many artists that take inspiration from those guys. But like when we were discovering them, they were definitely more underground.
Yeah, no, for sure, man, absolutely, for sure. It's kind of funny, like what new art, like the internet has like just exploded with like a lot of bands and rap artists and other artists you just would never have known. But there's some great, very popular artists that are inspired by those. Then they found those fuckers in like a mixtape somewhere. They like a bargain basement somewhere.
Some random SoundCloud page.
Yeah, exactly. The something to that. So man, what are some horror movies, man, that you want to do that you just haven't covered yet, or maybe even some horror television that you haven't got a chance to, because you only did like Goosebumps, but like there's a lot of decent horror television out there to do. So I was curious about you exploring those.
Well, Obscene Division is working on an "Are You Afraid of the Dark" song, so expect that one. I'm hoping by the end of this year we'll get it done, but we take our time.
Yeah, awesome.
What I want to do soon. I mean, I got that Stephen King one I'm working on. I'm doing a Hellraiser one. I really want to get a Wishmaster one done. Uh, what else? Christine. I've been working on a Christine one, kind of off, on and off here and there. Um, there was one more that I really, really wanted to do. Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, dude, Evil Dead would be fucking fantastic. I know Zach would love Evil Dead.
Dude, Evil Dead and Hellraiser, fuck yes. But I have a very specific song that I'm still waiting for, and that would
Oh,
be
Chud.
Yup. See,
Yeah.
you know it. You know it. Where is it?
I wrote Chud 1 and 2. It's actually going to be 2 songs, and I'm going to release them back to back as like a double feature. They're done. Like the lyrics are done. I'm waiting on the right beats to come by so that like the lyrics kind of pop to me. I can't really explain it, but like you get a beat pack, you listen to them all, and something that you wrote clicks in your head, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do to that. I'm just like waiting for that moment for those.
I am patiently awaiting the day.
Yeah. No, they're gonna be coming out. I got them done just for you.
Sweet.
Dude, nobody
literally
else, just for Zach.
you.
I can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
Dude, you know what you have to do now, right, Corey? You literally at the top of the bar of the song, you'd be like, "This one's for Zach."
Yeah.
This one's.
You don't have to do that, but I'm not gonna say don't.
You don't have to, but no, I think I actually might. Because like nobody else has asked me to do a Chud song, so I wasn't planning on it before you brought it up.
So mate, you just talked about that too, like about like waiting on the beat. Like, how does the process work? Like, I think I talked about this before, but I completely forgot. Like, like you breaking down like how the process works with the creation of the songs. But and I probably don't remember as much, but I'm very curious. Like, and I think that some people might be curious about how you go about, like formulating and writing this stuff, and then the final product and how it comes to be.
Well, I write in like bits and pieces. Like, I don't want to hear a beat until most of my lyrics are done, because I don't want a beat to like influence how I'm gonna flow, how I'm gonna use my sentence structures, unless like I hear a beat and then get inspired by that. Because there's a million ways to write, but the way I mostly do it is, I'll watch a couple movies or something and just take notes, take like quotes, scenes, whatever I would want to mention, and just like try to write rhymes to them in little pieces, and then I'll fit them together later. Like, I'll always figure it out later. I'm not worried about structuring my song until I have like 6 different notes full in my phone, just like bars.
And then after that, and then when it comes to structuring, do you just do it until it feels right, or it's kind of trial and error? Or how does it work for you?
A lot of trial and error, a lot of moving things around. Like, does this work here? Does this lead into this? And sometimes I'll have to like, I want 2 paragraphs next to each other because they're like kind of like leading into the same topics or something like that, and then I'll have to write something in between them to go from this to this, and it's like a jigsaw puzzle of words, basically.
And then after that, you go ahead and try to listen to an assortment of different types of beats and everything else in the actual music. Where do you and you mentioned like you get it like a bunch of them in packages, or I didn't quite understand what you're talking about.
Sometimes you'll get a beat pack from a producer, and you get to like listen to them all and be like, okay, I like this one, this one, this one. But lately, my homie Squib, who makes most of my beats, he'll just like come to me and be like, hey man, I made you a Leatherface beat. Do you have any Leatherface bars? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got some. And then, like, that's kind of how that works. Or like, I'll request something. I'll be like, because I went to Mock Beats, another guy who I work with in Amsterdam, and I was like, hey, I'm working on a sleepaway camp song, and he'd like never heard of it before, so he like watched like a little bit of the movies, like, I think I got something. He just like sent me back that beat, and I was like, okay, this will work.
And that's one of those movies I would have been like, you may want to stick till the end on that one.
Yeah,
just so you get the full picture of what's going on. I'm just saying that you might want to stick around till the end, because it's kind of important.
That's a movie where the end is the most important scene in the movie.
Yep.
Besides that, it's pretty much a Friday the 13th ripoff. To be perfectly
Pretty
honest.
much, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, it's like Friday the 13th,
With
The
way
Burning.
less money.
Yeah. Oh, way less money, dude. Like Friday the 13th, The Burning, and Sleepaway Camp are basically all the same movie. They with like different, like obviously with Sleepaway Camp having the twist that it does. The and then some.
Imagine if Friday the 13th had that twist.
Were the mother's actually the father? Let's just pause a second to think about that.
What?
I didn't think it would be that funny. I was like, oh.
Dude, leave it, bro. Leave it to me. I will find a way to make it fucking funny. I will.
Life finds a way.
Yes, life finds a way. Fucking Jeff Goldblum. Anyway, so yeah, so you get a beat package and everything else, and then when it comes to how long does it usually take you to actually produce a song once it's ready to go and performed? Do you do it, do a couple different takes? How does it work for you, man, with your artistic process?
So once a song is like written and I have the beat to it and it's like structured in my head the way I want it to be, I'll practice it over and over until, I'm ready to record. And when I feel like I can do it without, looking at my notes, because that's when you're ready. If you have to keep looking back at your notes to get through it, then you're not ready to perform it, right? So when you go to the studio, you are performing. You're not just recording. Like, you got to give that same kind of energy, right? Just to get the track sounding good. So once I'm ready for that, yeah, it might take me a day, it might take me an hour, and it might take me multiple sessions over a week to record a song. So
nice.
There's no real answer to that. It's just like, it's got to sound kind of the way it is in my head. And if I'm not doing it, then I got to, take a step back and try again later, or I have to structure it differently because it's just never going to work the way it is in my head. It's a process, but I don't know. Once you get that final product, it's fucking totally worth it.
Absolutely, man. So when you're let's just say you had no interruptions and everything else, like how long would it take you A to Z to finish it? Like I know obviously life gets in the way and like and shit gets changed and everything else. Like if you had to like do it A to Z, what would be that timeline? How long would it take you?
Like from starting writing to putting a song out?
I'll make it easier. Like say for instance, like you've already watched the movie and you got your notes. Like your notes are ready to go, and everything else.
No interruptions. If it's all I'm doing and it's all I'm focusing on, I could say 4 to 5 days, because like I still have to do the videos and everything, and that's like again a lot of time going into the editing of it.
And what's your approach with the videos, man? Do you just try to do like fun shots from it, or do you have is there a method to your madness?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, like because by the time I go back to the movie, I already, first of all, know it very well just from writing about it and watching it so many times. And I know the lyrics really well. So I just look for the scenes that I'm referencing, and those will go into one folder. And then I just take like cool, interesting shots. Those will go into another folder for like filler when I'm not referencing a scene or something like that. And then like I like to take a lot of abstract shots where like you can't really tell what's going on. And those are for like the filler, if you know what I mean.
All right.
Like if I'm not feeling a scene where Pumpkinhead should be popping out at you, what do I put in there if I'm not referencing something else? Oh, like a shot of the woods or something,
Okay. So yeah, so you got a method to the madness. So it could probably take anywhere, probably like 2 weeks all in all if you had no interruptions, probably around that time.
Yeah, it could take that long. It depends on the song itself, because like sometimes I write stuff to challenge myself, and I know I shouldn't be doing that to get stuff out quicker, but I feel like I have to. So
well, you gotta keep yourself sharp.
Yeah, this Hellraiser one that I'm writing has a lot of like harsh, deeper vocals that I want to do, and it might take me a good day or two just to like get those parts down. But like, nice. It's just something I have to do. Like, it's in my head. It sounds cool the way it is, and I gotta like figure out how to get it into a mic.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm very much looking forward to that. So that's cool, man. Like it's it's like, hey, it's in my head. I got to find a way to get it the fuck out of my head. And like,
Yeah.
like it's like I think I made that joke with a lot of artists and everything else. Like it's like a tick, like in your head, or like a one of them fucking scarab beetles from the Mummy. You gotta fucking get that fucker out of your head.
Yeah.
And onto the page or on to something.
And then like 2 weeks later, I'll just never think of it again unless I have to perform it somewhere.
Oh, that's cool. You can let it go that easily.
Yeah. It's almost like getting something off your back too, right? Because like you focus so hard on one thing forever. Like I worked on Killer Klowns forever, thought of only that for a long time, and then like once it was out, I was like, okay, I don't have to think about Killer Klowns for a while.
So, I want to bring it back a little bit. So you said you would love to see one of your songs at the end of a movie for like the end credits or something like that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long do you think it would take you to compose something for a movie and or a show? Like specifically? Like say the movie isn't even done filming yet. Like would that be even possible for you?
Well, I mean, if I have enough information and I have like tons of quotes, like if somebody gave me a script, at least I could come up with something, But I wouldn't be able to like do the video until the movie's done.
You said something earlier that caught my ear and everything else is you were saying, hey, you'll know when you're ready when you don't look at your notes and like you're ready to perform. It should be the same volume of energy and the same commitment and the same level of showmanship in the studio, the same as if you were performing it live. And I was like, that's a really cool, like that's really good advice for anybody that wants to perform, that wants to be, write music or do something creative like you and everything else. Do you have any other pieces of advice for people who kind of want to, do something like this? Say for instance, somebody sees your shit and they're like, damn, I want to be a horror rapper. They, and they're like, which I'm sure would be amazing, for you to see, that you inspired somebody, but like, what advice would you give them?
Just do it a lot. Do it until you hate it. Like, yeah, I'll go over 4 bars, just rap it over and over, try to rearrange the words so they flow off of my tongue better, but still kind of structurally make sense. I'll try things until I'm like sick of it. And I'm like, I have to ask people, is this good? Like I'll write, yeah, like 4 bars. Let's say I write like a 16-bar verse and I'm like, I think it's dope. I'll go over it so many times that I'm like questioning how good it is now because I'm just like so tired of hearing it. I have to rap it to somebody else, like another rapper, and be like, hey, is this a good verse or have I just like heard it way too many times? That's like, because then you don't have to think about what you wrote down when you're performing it. When you're performing it, you're only really thinking about your performance. And a song is a performance. So when you go into a studio, you get in front of the mic, you're not just reading words. You're not just, trying to hit a note. You're a performer in like your audience is the mic, I guess.
Awesome. And while you're talking about performances and everything else, this might be a stupid question, but sometimes I get a surprised answer. Hey, what's your favorite part of the process? Is it the writing? Is it the arrangement, or is it the video, or is it the performance? Or is it the studio? What's your favorite part, or do you kind of measure them equally?
I mean, it's kind of all my favorite part, except for the editing. That is just the most tedious part. Sometimes writing will be the most frustrating, just because like you get writer's block or you're stuck on something and you just fucking can't get it, and you'll be stuck on it for months sometimes. But it's putting out a project, like the end result, seeing it done, saying, hey everybody, it's up on YouTube, hey everybody, the song's out on Spotify. Then it's like washing my hands of it, it's like this releasing this pressure that's been on my fucking shoulders forever. And performing is the most fun, obviously. But I think like the best feeling, other than like when you're performing and having a good time and vibing with the crowd, the best feeling is just putting something out and saying, okay, it's done, I don't have to keep fucking with it.
The sense of completion that
Yeah.
like hey, it's done, man. I don't have to worry about it. It's they trust me. I get that. Like, there's been plenty of things that we've released, and we were so happy, like it's done. And also too is there's a sense of feeling of like also this is it. Like, there's nothing more I can do. It's out in the public now. Like, and I could either sit here and scrutinize it and watch it over again and be like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. Or I can just let it exist.
That's why you always have to have a next project. You always have to have something else you can just jump right into. Obviously, I'm never going to run out of horror movies to write about, so I don't have to worry about that.
No, I can definitely appreciate it. And then maybe that's another good piece of advice. Always have something else to go to right after the fact. So that way you're not languishing in one of the projects or the other. So so I got a question of the podcast. I always love this, besides what has already been mentioned, because I know Zach is going to harp on the Chud 1 and Chud 2. So what is one song that you would love to see Corey do? And then also too for you, Corey, what's something that you really want to do that you just haven't got around to actually doing just yet? So Corey, I'll let you go first unless you want to pass it. You know the rules. You've been this is your third time, so you should know how this shit runs. If you can always pass it, then we can always come back to you.
It's the Christine song. I've been working on it forever. I don't even know. Like, did we talk about it last time I was on your show?
No, man, we didn't.
No, I've been working on this Christine song forever, but it's just like, first of all, it's kind of hard to get into the zone where I'm playing a car, let alone a female one who's like trying to trap dudes. So it's just like a weird character for me to like step into the shoes of, but I'll get there.
No, I believe you, man. I believe you. That's gonna be dope. Zach?
Either one of three movies: Jaws, Predator, or one of the Friday the 13th movies.
I'm sure I'll get to all of those.
Yeah,
those are all on the list.
I figured it was just a matter of time.
Well, you already did. Screw for me. I definitely want to. I want to pick a movie and a TV show. Actually, definitely From Dusk Till Dawn. If I was ever Corey, if I was ever gonna request one for you, man, that would be the one. Like,
the movie.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, definitely the movie.
Okay.
From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, that would be the thing. And by the way, make all the feet jokes you want in it. There's plenty.
I mean, what else am I gonna do? There's definitely gonna be some foot bars.
Oh yeah, dude. There's definitely
some
gonna be that.
Footnotes, if you will.
And one that might be really interesting that I've become a really big fan of. It's a TV show. Is House on Haunted Hill.
Really?
A house on Haunting of Hill House.
Okay. I was like, there's a new House on Haunted Hill series.
Haunting of Hill House. It's a really, really good drama, and to have that kind of tone that like where it's like a little bit more on the serious side and everything else will be really interesting to see you tackle. It's like, think about it this way. It's like, it's still very much a horror song, but it's a little bit more on the serious side of things, and it'd be interesting to see you explore
like less aggression, more creep factor.
Well, yeah, the creep factor's there, but it's like more of a it's not as fun. It's more of like a heavy like think of like Eminem, do like I'm cleaning out my closet. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a little bit more heavy, but it's not as fun because it's a lot of heavy content within that show. But it could be very interesting to see you like tackle something that's a little bit more serious. Okay. I think that would be really cool. And obviously, From Dusk Till Dawn will be a fucking madhouse. Be dope. So, but yeah, it'll be fun to see you like
the song's got to match the content too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, no doubt. So you gonna say anything, Zach?
I don't know why this one just came to me, but Godzilla.
Oh man, I was talking to somebody on another podcast about a Godzilla song, but like Godzilla fans are so hardcore, I don't know if I could please them.
I'm not going to disagree with you there, but
yeah, they're pretty intense and they know a lot of their shit. So like, I would have to get really, really into Godzilla and like learn like a lot of underground shit before I would even try to tackle something like that.
I think Godzilla is the longest running movie series in history right now. I think even longer than James Bond.
That makes sense.
It's either James Bond or Godzilla, one of the two.
Godzilla was in black and white.
Yeah.
Dr. No was in color.
Okay.
So like it's older than that. So yeah, dude, it's the oldest running film series around. Of any kind.
Yeah.
Actually, and it's even older than any television series that's still running as well.
Yeah.
So it's like
There's
oldest
a shit
piece
ton of lore involved.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very vast.
There's a fuck ton of lore. There's technically reboots, and there's so much, and I've seen every single one of them.
Yeah, it's very specific. So all right, man. Well, dude, for your hat trick, man, it was an absolute pleasure having you come on. Thanks for battling through some technical difficulties. This is an opportunity for you to look directly to camera or off to the side of camera, and tell the good people, the other camera, who else is videotaping you, Corey? So tell the good people with your very nice cat where they can find you on the social medias and YouTubes and all the great stuff, and where to find your awesome music, man.
I go by Poltergeist OD. You can find me on YouTube, just at Poltergeist OD. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Slasher, TikTok, at Poltergeist_OD. I mainly try to funnel people to my Instagram just because, like, that's the social media I like the best, I guess. But yeah, I'm on all of them, Poltergeist_OD. I'm on every streaming platform, like I'm on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, Tidal, basically anywhere you stream music, just look up Poltergeist OD.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, dude, for going on. And thank you, all of you, for being on the Nightmares podcast. If you liked what you saw, we would really appreciate if you would stab that like button, smash that subscribe, and click that little dingy bell to be notified every time we drop amazing content. We really appreciate it. And also, too, if you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Slasher.
I gotta get used to this goddamn board. Jesus,
you
Christ.
really do. Back to me. So for all things horror, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on the Nightmares podcast. Bye, guys.